it's not the last session, there is still one session after, right? So, today, I'm going to talk about what I call OpenStack-ception. Why? Because it's an OpenStack over an OpenStack. And we can eventually do OpenStack over OpenStack over OpenStack over OpenStack. That could work, but at the end, it's not that good. But anyway, I'm pretty sure most of you already did that, trying to boot an instance inside another instance, and yeah, it works. So, first, who am I? My name is Arnaud. I work for OVH Cloud, and I'm involved in deploying the OpenStack for the public cloud product for OVH. Right? What are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about first a little bit of context, OVH, and all of this stuff. OpenStack-ception. This is the main idea of me here talking to you and you listening to me. Then I will do a short demo. And that's it. And maybe some questions, for sure. First, the context. So, OVH Cloud, it's a company created by Octave Clava. For people who were there on Friday, Octave has been on stage to talk a little bit about the project he has currently working on. He created the company 26 years ago. It started with bare metal servers, like this, so it's pretty much a pizza box inside the box. And then we put such servers into racks, like this. The fun part within OVH is that we do some water cooling stuff. So every server within OVH is water cooled. Okay? And then we put the racks in rooms, and it gives us some data centers like this. And we have a lot of data centers around the world. I don't remember the numbers. Is there anyone having the numbers here?
43.
43. Thank you. Other people from OVH. And we do OpenStack. We started installing OpenStack on these servers in 2012. We started with Swift. We deployed only Swift at the beginning to build an object storage. And then we did some Nova Neutron stuff between 2014 and 2015. It depends which version of OpenStack we want to talk about, but the real one, the production one, started with Juno. And the fun fact is that it's still there. We upgraded the regions from Juno up to Caracal now. We have now like more than 40 production regions running on OpenStack. It's around 30K hypervisors, so it's a lot. It gives us very huge challenges, but this is why I'm paid every month, so it's good. And this is what makes me be here with you, so it's amazing. Our biggest region is having almost 3K computes. This is a real challenge as well, because it's a lot. Is there anyone having a bigger region than us? Bad, because I would have some questions. It's a challenge. It's never do that. Never try to avoid having regions as big as this, because this is painful to manage, painful to maintain, and OpenStack is not designed to run at that scale. But hey, this is what we did, and it works kind of okay. It's okay. We now have more than 500K instances running on these full regions. And yeah, it's difficult. It's not only you having issues with RabbitMQ. We do have a lot of issues with RabbitMQ as well. And if you've been there yesterday, we did a talk about this. So if you have issues with RabbitMQ, you can come back after as well. But this is not today's topic. Okay? We are not going to talk about RabbitMQ. Okay, let's talk about OpenStack-ception. What if you have a bug somewhere in OpenStack, you have a bug on your OpenStack, in your downstream code, which prevents you to do something. You know it's a bug. You don't know if upstream is affected. What can you do? First idea, you can try to put a DevStack, right? You already played with DevStack, right? So DevStack, it's a good idea. But it's not very aligned with real world. You know DevStack, there is dev in the name first. And then it's all in one. You're not running production OpenStack all in one. So you could have an OpenStack with multi-nodes, but that's painful to manage, painful to deploy, and it's not by default. It takes time to configure. It relies on master branch. I'm pretty sure you're not running your OpenStack on master branch, right? At least we don't. So I'm not sure it's a good idea anyway. So our second idea was to use a so-called project that I call Bootstrap OpenStack. Bootstrap OpenStack, it's starting an OpenStack on top of our own public cloud, because I'm lucky, I have access to a lot of servers and I can start a lot of instances. So I can start an OpenStack on top of this OpenStack, like a small region, a small OpenStack. I want it to be quick, so I want it to be started in less than 5 minutes. If you already started DevStack, you know that it's not 5 minutes, it's more like 20, 30 minutes, something like this to have a DevStack. It should be multi-node by default. I mean, I want to have a virtual machine for my control plane. I want to have at least one compute node which will host my instances, and I want to have a network node, maybe two, because sometimes it's useful. I want it to be easy to read, easy to tune. This is not very objective actually, because it's easy for me. I wrote the code behind this, so it's easy for me at least. And I want it to rely on stable branches, because we rely on stable branches on our production OpenStack. So I want it to be close to my production OpenStack. So I did some choice in the tool I used to deploy this project. For example, I choose to run Neutron using the OVS driver, not the OVN. Why? Because we use OVS within OVH for deploying it, so it's not an OVN deployment tool. But anyway, we tested it to deploy OVN, so we used it as a lab to test OVN, and it's very useful to have this kind of tool to test pins as well. So how it works? I rely on OpenTofu to start 5 instances. One instance named controller, one instance which will be used as a controller. I will install Kubernetes inside this, so I will install all OpenStack components within Docker containers inside Kubernetes, because it's kind of an easy tool. This is also what we do at some point within OVH, so it's again, it looks like my production. I will start 2 compute nodes. It's useful sometimes to test live migration, for example. I will start 2 network nodes, because when you do routers, when you ask for routers within OpenStack, you may have a router active and another one not active, and you may want to debug what's going on between the two of them. And I will use Cloud Init for setup because it's easy and I'm lazy. I will just write a big post-install script and give it to the instance and expect to be executed at the end and to be executed successfully. I will rely on precompiled packages. I built some Debian packages and Docker images in order to start my Nova, Neutron, etc. So I'm not relying on any vendor package, so it's not Ubuntu one or Debian one. Sorry, the Zero is not there. That's good. Yeah, please don't tell Zero. I rebuilt completely the dev packages because I wanted it to be my way of doing it. And it will also pre-configure some images, flavors, because I'm lazy again. I don't want to do an OpenStack. I don't want to create flavors when I first connect on this OpenStack development. I want it to be ready to use. And because it's also running within the OVH public cloud, I can eventually rely on real public IPs. this is something which is maybe not possible everywhere in every cloud provider, but at least it is within OVH, so it could be nice as well. I'm not using L. Why? Because L is L. I don't like Helm at all. First, we don't use it on production. On all sides, we use it a little bit. Okay, I can admit that. But I don't like it. I don't want to use it. It's painful to manage. I don't like it. And yeah, L is Helm as well. Behind the scene, I have a controller node which will use pure Kubernetes YAML files. So it's like flat YAML files, which are going to be a little bit tweaked by a templating mechanism using a tool named Frep. It's from someone on GitHub, so it's very nice. It's a templating tool around the Go language templating. So it's very easy to use. And then I will start configuring my two computes and networks using Ansible, because I know how to write Ansible, and I use Ansible as well at OVH, so it's kind of easy to write Ansible playbooks, right? Here is a quick overview of the controller part. So the controller, I will have access to the controller through SSH or HTTP, only one network interface. And every OpenStack component, the control plane at least, will be deployed within Kubernetes as containers. So the only tool I need there is kubectl. Actually, this will be my main machine that I will connect on to try to manipulate my OpenStack. And then the compute of the networks, they look like this. I also have an access SSH to eventually manage them, to get to the virtual agent, Nova, compute, and Open vSwitch. There are some missing pieces there. You can also add livers and all of the stuff that is needed to boot an instance. And the tool which is used here is Ansible in order to deploy all of this. I have an extra interface here, which is used for the public IP. So it's not the purpose of today, but at least it can be used in order to have real IPs on my deployment, which is sometimes very useful, even for Demo. Okay, now let's do a quick demo. So, for my demo, I will share my screen. Maybe it will be easier if I do that. Okay. It's working. Demo. Demo. So I created my. Let me disconnect. I can show you. So first, everything is on GitHub. So I just did a git clone of my project on my laptop. I entered the tofu folder, and I did a tofu apply. So I did it first previously, like 1 hour ago, in order to save time. I'm not late anyway, but it's okay. And then it started 5 instances, which I think, tofu output. Yeah. And SSH command to connect to my instances are given by tofu output, right? So I will connect on the one which is used for Kubernetes stuff. Let's go. Okay. Let's use Linux. Okay. So I'm in. Now I said everything is inside Kubernetes, right? I'm a lazy guy, so I have an alias name K. I think everyone does that, right? K get pods. I have a lot of pods available. And all of them are just basically there to make an OpenStack up and running, right? So we have MySQL, we have Neutron, we have Nova, we have Octavia placement, RabbitMQ, etc. And I also have 2 files, OpenRC admin and OpenRC demo, which were provided by the PodSynthesize script. I can do a source OpenRC demo. I'm supposed to have some flavors. Yeah, I'm lazy again, so I'm not using OpenStack. I have an alias for OS. Everyone do that? Yeah, okay. Very good. I have 3 flavors, okay? I'm not supposed to have any server yet, okay? Because I'm connected as demo, let me source OpenStack admin, OS network agent list. As an admin, I'm supposed to list all agent availables, and we can see that I have a lot of them. Open vSwitch, L3, metadata, and they are available on 2 different hosts, the 1 and the 0. Okay, it's the same on the hypervisor list. I'm supposed to have 2 computes. I have 2 computes. Everything is up and running. That's good. Let's go back to demo. I will start an instance. I have an helper script, an helper that I can source, which will give me another lazy command, create server private. It's basically doing the OpenStack server create for me without even to remember what are the parameters for this. So I created a new server named N1, right? OS server list. Oh, it's already active. So it's a Cyrus image, which is very useful because it's small and it boots very quickly, and it's okay. Now, what if I want to? Let's imagine I have a bug somewhere. I want to test a small change on my Nova API. Okay, let's do that scenario. Here, I do have an OpenStack Docker folder. Let's enter this one. I have Nova, and this is actually a folder, another GitHub repo, which I use to store all my Docker files, which I used to build images for the containers. Right? So I cloned it here, just to be convenient, to eventually do a patch there. I will do a patch there. So let's do grep clone Docker file. I want to git clone Nova locally. Git clone Nova. So I'm cloning Nova from OpenDev directly inside my Kubernetes machine for now. The idea is to patch Nova there, to rebuild an image, to inject that image into Kubernetes, roll out restart the Nova API in order to test the new Nova without the bug. Let's imagine the bug is I created a server, my server here, and I did not provide any description, right? The description is empty. And the bug is, if a description is empty, I want it to not being empty, to have a default message. So I will patch Nova. So if description is empty, then replace it by something else. Okay? So it's not a bug. This is a demo. This is not a...
I think it's a bug, always a feature.
Yeah, yeah, every bug is a feature. Let's wait for the Nova to be cloned. Eventually, yeah. So we go. Nova is a big boy. We have plenty of time anyway. Right? 10 minutes left, right? Okay, CD Nova. I exactly know where it is. File name servers. I don't know where the file is, but I know which file I'm looking for. It's this one. Because I prepared this demo. Description. Okay, it's there. Let's add if description. If not description. Because if not description, then description equal welcome to Paris. That's good. Okay. Now I want to rebuild the image, but with my change that I did locally, right? So instead of doing a git clone here, I will just do a copy, Nova, replace that. I will copy Nova from my local folder instead of git cloning, because I did the git clone manually, patched. And now I need to go back one folder. I have a script which is very useful named build for K3S. Yeah, it's running on K3S, by the way. Which one do I want to rebuild? It's Nova. Okay, let's wait a minute. So it will copy my Nova folder locally, install Nova and rebuild an image, and then it will push my image locally inside my K3S. While it's doing that, I will show you in Bootstrap OpenStack KAS. I have the YAML files, which are pretty flat. And here, so the file is quite big because I have like a service, multiple deployments. You know, I just did a lot of Kubernetes stuff within the same file because it's easy. I don't want to have multiple files for Nova, so only one file for Nova, and everything is there. And I have Nova API here, which is running on this container for now, and it will change to my local value. I know it's local because it's given to me at the end. I was expecting to have local. And then I can do another command to inject this YAML file into Kube. So it will basically do a kubectl apply with the new file using my frep templating tool. Okay, I'm supposed to Nova API is supposed to roll out. It's ongoing. Yeah. One has already rolled out, the second one is ongoing. It's done. So now I'm supposed to be able to create a new server, create server private. And if I did that correctly, yes. I have welcome to Paris in the description. I provided no description to boot my server, but because I did the patch in Nova, I injected that patch into my Kubernetes. The patch is now there. That's the way I use that's the way I develop on OpenStack. That's the way I test stuff on OpenStack. So if you've been to our team Keystone REST stuff, I've been working with the REST Keystone on such deployments in order to test the Keystone in REST, and actually it was not working correctly because of a bug inside Keystone REST, but at least I was able to test it. It was funny. So I can do a lot of tests like this. It's very nice. Eventually we can, instead of patching Nova locally, you can also grab a patch which is waiting on Gerrit. Instead of git clone from OpenDev, you can git clone from review OpenDev or Gerrit OpenDev, and you can eventually git clone a patch not yet merged. It's also useful to test stuff like this. So it looks like DevStack actually. I agree. But it's a little bit different and I prefer it. So it's okay for me. Maybe it's not okay for you. And that's it. It's there. So if you want more info, you can get to the code. Everything is under my GitHub repo over there. So if you have any question now,
Yeah. How could you patch compute services or network services?
So when it comes to compute, you have to connect on the compute. So when a compute register on this OpenStack, you can have access to it directly from the queue. They share the same SSH key, and then you can on compute. I don't use any container. Everything is on a dev package, so it's installed at the end on the compute itself. So it's even easier. Everything is there.
Just edit and
OpenStack,
restart.
yeah, and you can edit there.
Okay.
If you want to test a patch which is coming from Gerrit, then it's a little bit more complex because you have to rebuild a dev package on compute. But usually, it's okay. It works.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other question? Yeah.
Is it possible to use it in other cloud platforms too?
I believe so. Yes. It's not.
OpenTutu is like versatile.
Yeah, I can show you after the Terraform stuff. It's basically building 5 instances with few network interfaces. Order matters because you want to have a specific network card at a specific place in order to be very reproducible. But that's it. It does not rely on any OVH related stuff. It could run everywhere. On any OpenStack deployment at least. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I give a link for an instance of this to Bartosz and he installed Ceph, connected to one of the Ceph clusters,
Yeah.
and that was okay.
Oh, right. Yes, I think we should.
If you want an OpenStack is a quick one, it's very nice. And it's very quick, quicker than DevStack, and it's more close to what we used to have inside the VMH. So, I know that. Yeah. Ah oui, ah oui, moi je les ai en prod, mais bon, ouais, mais lui c'est dans OpenStack-Docker, c'est un autre repo. Tu reviendras. Okay, okay. Who is after me? Nobody yet. So just from autograph? This one? C'est bien secret, on va le on n'a pas de